So talk, Scott, through the numbers, Nick, because it was a really interesting one, especially when it comes to the terrace houses.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the value in this site was spotting the opportunity of marriage value. Because one bungalow, you wouldn't be able to develop much more than another property, maybe a couple of semis on it. So, it wouldn't have really made much return, and certainly probably from Scott's perspective, there wouldn't have been enough meat on the bone to warrant that. But the two together suddenly got very, very exciting. So we were looking at a purchase price of around about 305,000 per unit.
Yeah, so 610.
610 altogether. End value, we were estimating around sort of 220 to 230,000 per unit.
So somewhere between 2.6 and 2.8 million GDP.
Let's take a step back. So the idea was to knock them
down and build a row of terraces.
And what would have been the build cost of those 12 properties, Nicholas?
Well, roughly, you've obviously got the 12 houses. If we're saying around about 75 square metres per unit, and around about £1,500 per square metre.
Okay, for that part of the country, that
roughly
sounds...
about 1.35 million.
Okay, for that part of the country, that sounds reasonable. Okay, and was planning in place?
No.
Okay.
So the minor thing to overcome there, just knock them down and build them.
Any class Q or class R are required.
Yeah, but you know what? These were amenable owners.
Yes.
They had time, they were living there.
Yes.
I think one of them was regrettably through probate, I think that's the word.
Yeah.
And so subject to planning offer would have been our first suggestion.
It was on a main road. I think highways wouldn't have had any issues being careful.
Straight road. No visibility issues.
No, I think you would have done a slight cutaway, but
no major overlooking either.
No.
So we would have carried the terrace line on, which was already residential to the left. There was no major overlooking at the rear. There was a kind of a
flat side.
Perpendicular. It was pretty flat, very slight
from the
slope.
front to the back.
Very slight slope.
Not horrendous.
So services wouldn't have been an issue.
No.